Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another edition of Let's Taste with the Intrepid Wino. My name is James Scaresbrook. Thank you very much for joining me on this edition. I'm looking at some wines from a new contributor, a new donator of samples from Casella Family Brands, who own Peter Lehmann wines, really important Barossa-based producer in South Australia, and they have sent me a pack of different wines from Peter Lehmann to look at. And on this edition, I'm looking at some of their aged releases. So we're looking at two white wines, both with some bottle age before release, like a museum release basically. Starting off with the Wigan Riesling 2012. It's an Eden Valley Riesling. Eden Valley, if you weren't aware, is a slightly more elevated part of the Barossa Valley, probably the cooler part of the region, of the Barossa, sorry, there's the Barossa Valley and there's the Eden Valley. And it is one of the most important regions for Riesling as a variety in Australia. Probably the other really important region not far from there is the Clare Valley. So yeah, let's have a look at the Wigan Riesling 2012. Recommended retail is, I believe, about $32.99, possibly, yeah, in that vicinity. Right off the bat, I'm noticing that there is a little bit of colour development in the wine. It's just starting to pick up a slightly yellowy, golden kind of colour. Not super intense, but certainly noticeable compared to a young Riesling, which is a lot paler and tends to have a little more green in it. Very textbook Eden Valley Riesling here, with some age. You know, it has that kind of citrus lime, almost a sherbety kind of character. It's picking up a little bit of that sort of kerosene character, which presents itself more with bottle age. Yeah, there's almost like a interesting kind of metallic, winey sort of aromatic to it. Let's taste. Very clean, very fresh. It's sort of softened. The acidity is not really brisk. It's getting a little bit of a creamy kind of texture. Reasonably rich. Look, this is fairly characteristic of Rieslings, Australian Rieslings, at least, that are in that kind of second phase of their life in bottle. I, if anything, probably would have preferred to see this a few years younger or a few years older. So if you were to buy this wine, I would actually suggest putting it down for a few more years, because it's in a slightly it's in a phase where it's not really showing either side. It's sort of lost some of its youthful, fresh fruit kind of exuberance, but it's also sort of not picking quite enough of that bottle age character. So I think it's still pretty good value for $32.99, that vicinity. But yeah, it's in a maybe it's a slightly shy phase. The second one we're going to look at is the Margaret Semillon from 2011, and this is a Barossa Semillon. So it's possible that this is a blend of fruit from Barossa Valley and Eden Valley. Oh dear. And we've got Semillon, probably most famous in Hunter Valley in Australia, is also widely planted in the Barossa, and you also find it quite a bit in the Margaret River, but tends to be blended with Sauvignon Blanc there. Certainly in the Hunter Valley, it is very common for producers to have at least one Semillon that is these released with some age. Probably one of the famous ones was the McWilliams Elizabeth Semillon. Still, for a long time, was considered one of the best value white wines in Australia. Recommended retail for this one, I believe, is $34.99. Quite shy and subtle on the palate. On the nose, sorry. It's not really giving a lot away. It's got very faint, sort of nutty, creamy, salty butter kind of aroma. Yeah, sort of lemon butter. If you've had lemon butter, there's a very, very faint sort of green fruit and herb aromatic. Seems very sort of supple and soft. Let's taste. This is showing really nicely. This is, Semillon can tend to be a reasonably neutral variety, made, just with stainless steel, that kind of thing. It can be very fresh, but quite neutral, and have a lot of really overt personality. But with some bottle age, certainly producers in regions like the Hunter Valley and the Barossa noticed that when it was in that second, even third wave, phase, of its life in bottle, it starts to show much more complexity, and that comes from that bottle age, and certainly this is the case here. It's picked up. It's very complex. It's really lingering on the palate. I'm still tasting it. It's actually picked up kind of almost a waxy cheese rind character, which is really interesting. Plums or a mature kind of like a hard cheese. The lemon and thyme is coming through on the palate as well. Really, got all the richness, but it's not really heavy and overt. It's quite subtle. It's very, very light and on its feet. So I think for someone who's interested to see how a white wine, particularly a variety like Semillon, can age, if you want to see what a mature white Australian wine tastes like, I think this is a really excellent buy. Having said that, I think if you are used to really, vibrant, youthful fruit characters, if that's what you enjoy, you might you might not enjoy this wine because it is quite subtle and complex, and does take a little bit of attention in order to actually appreciate, I think, and enjoy those subtleties. But look, two excellent wines here. I think they're both very good value. The Semillon probably a bit more so, and it is exciting to see wine producers who are releasing some of their wines with some age onto the market, so that a customer can actually get the benefit of tasting wines with some time in the bottle. But thank you very much to Casella and Peter Lehmann for very generously donating some samples. There will be, I think, one other edition I'll record soon of Let's Taste with Peter Lehmann wines. But if you would like to see your wines profiled here on Let's Taste with the Intrepid Wino, please do get in contact with me. You can do that via my website at www.intrepidwino.com. But you can also follow me on social media at Intrepid Wino on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. If you are watching this on YouTube, please subscribe to the channel, leave a comment below. I'd love to hear from you. Share this video on social media and hit the like button. If you are watching us on Facebook, like the page, the Intrepid Wino YouTube Facebook page. Same again. Comments, like, share. I love getting some feedback about my videos, and I love hearing people if you've enjoyed a wine like this before. But guys, until next time, cheers.